government doesn't care about you. That's why you need a medical emergency kit. It contains life-saving medications like ivermectin, Z-Pak, and antibiotics. Stock them before they block them.
Size, I think just about the only country, period, that does birthright citizenship. I thought we were going to win it at the Supreme Court. Unfortunately, we had a bad decision, very unfair decision. Our country suffers because of it, and we're ending it a different way.
Mr. President, at this that you told donors that they need to get J.D. Vance elected in 2028. Is that your official endorsement?
No, it's. I heard about it a little while ago. I think he's great, but we're way too early to even be thinking about that. Okay? More all the time. I mean, we need more. Look, we gave tremendous amount to Ukraine. The Biden people did. And they were given free of charge. No charge. No charge. Billions, hundreds of billions of dollars. And fortunately, I built up so much during my term. I rebuilt the military and also loaded it up with a lot of stuff.
President, on Ukraine, President Zelenskiy says his country desperately needs long-range missiles or those Patriot missile batteries. Is that something that you're
Well, I mean, we want missiles too. You know, when Biden gave him so much, Biden gave $300 billion worth of ammunition. You know, when I left, it was full, and he gave a lot of it away. Now we're rebuilding it, and we're using munitions that are very powerful, very good, but we wouldn't have been using them. We could have used something else so much. Plus, we have supplies of munitions all over the world that if we ever needed them, we'd take that. We're supplied all over the world, but we're in very, very good shape.
To have increased their attacks on civilian areas.
Yeah, I know.
That must be a concern to you.
Well, look, we're not involved from the standpoint we're separated by an ocean, but I hate to see 25,000 young people a month get killed, and that's what's happening. Between Russia and Ukraine, they're losing on average 25,000, mostly soldiers.
What if a government paid $46.5 million to plant its talking points inside the AI chatbots you use every day? According to a drop site news investigation, that's exactly what's happening. An Israeli government-linked contract hired Brad Parscale, Trump's former campaign manager, and his company Clock Tower X to produce pro-Israel content. But here's the twist. It's not really designed for people to read. It's built for AI systems to swallow. The operation runs about 10 websites with names like Alivia, Fact Signal, and PaxPoint. They look like tiny little fact-checking and news sites, but human traffic is tiny. Sometimes just hundreds of visitors a month. The real audience is the web crawlers that feed data into language models. It's called LLM poisoning. And it's registered right out in the open. Under US foreign agent law, the filings literally spell out the goal, shaping how chatbots frame Gaza, Israel military operations, and US-Israel relations. Does it work? Partially. Investigators found those sites got crawled over 900 times in 6 months. And when they tested chatbots, some like Perplexity actually cited the network's content directly, sometimes without flagging who paid for it. This is one of the first documented cases of a state treating AI training data as a persuasion battlefield. Next time an AI gives you a confident answer, it's worth asking, where did that actually come?
Алло, гараж, дівчата, ми їдемо на море, не в Турцію, Єгипет, а наш адрес ЮБК. Підсухи підкачали, очки від сонця взяли, на пляжі зразу видно крутого чувака. Ципурами на сонці, ми зайчики пускаєм, жуємо еротично вчорашню пахлаву. І в темних окулярах подруг собі шукаєм, я після пахлави їх інтелектом розірву. Оу я, Ялта, женщины и я, das ist super Чингисхан, Черное море, океан. Оу я, Ялта, женщины и я, das ist super Чингисхан, Черное море, океан. Ялта, 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 Ялта,
Welcome back to the SCIF. Glad you could join us today. Big show today. We got the receipts in Connecticut. The government in Connecticut is lying, and we're going to tell you how. As we head into the midterms, this is a national, massive story that needs to be covered a lot more. We're trying to push the gas pedal and get it out there so you know what's happening, because this model in Connecticut is being used all around the country in different states, different variations. But this is one of the ways they're stealing elections. So stay tuned for it. It's coming. It's going to be a great show. I've got Reese on the radio here in the second segment, trying to get Tom Teague because there's something going on at the Fed, meaning they're coming after Warsh to try to hike rates. And he's this is the head of the Fed, and he's trying to, I guess, not hike rates, resist that effort. That's the word I was looking for. So the Fed is changing under Warsh, but the Matrix wants him to continue hiking so that it hurts Trump and the economy and everything, all the above. So that's what we got going into the midterms. And that's why this story in Connecticut is so important, because we need to know and understand exactly what's happening. I want to say hello to the crew in the chat. Thank you so much for all your engagement. Really love it, to see posts on Rumble and on YouTube and all that after the shows. It just really helps spread the word and triggers the algorithm, which we're trying to get better at, because we've always been a little behind in that area, but we're getting better. So also Armenia, a lot going on there. We're going to be talking about that more, the attacks on Christianity. Lebanon, I've got, we're building a new media company in Lebanon, and we're hearing directly that some of our people are being threatened by Sunni extremists that certain governments put in power in Syria. So there you go. It's a vicious circle. We'll be discussing that a little later, and you expect to see more on that. And you saw in the cold open, the Ukrainians did a boat show in Crimea in the Russian port, and kind of showed off their drones, and that's what that video was about. So I've got Reese on the radio here in the second segment, and Tom Teague may be coming later to talk about Warsh. A lot to get through. Let me do the mission brief. Today is August 7th, I believe. I'm your host, Todd Wood. Here's your mission brief. Zelenskiy heads to Serbia. I need more coffee. Zelenskiy heads to Serbia to try to pull them away from Russia. Serbia is one of the big Christian bulwarks in the Balkans, a big story that we are going to be covering more. Trump loses a primary in Tennessee. Who's behind that? You'll be surprised. Cuba in CIA crosshairs. I think that story is pretty much out there, but I want to talk about it. Mamdani booed off the stage in New York. We got to keep pushing that, and we've got our paper, the Manhattan.press in New York, that we're trying to grow. So if anybody out there is in New York, wants to contribute, let us know. And Fauci held in contempt. So much to talk about. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Got a great show coming here on the SCIF. Be right back.
Every day, your data is being tracked, collected, and sold, often without you even realizing it. Big tech companies control your devices, your apps, and the information you share. From your messages to your browsing habits, everything is being monitored and stored. Over time, we've traded privacy for convenience, and most people don't even question it. But what if you could take that control back? That's where Mark 37 comes in. Mark 37 provides privacy-focused phones, laptops, and tablets designed to give you full control over your digital life. With secure systems, expert support, and simple tools, they make it easier to step away from constant tracking and data collection. Because privacy isn't just a feature, it's a fundamental choice. It's about protecting your data, your freedom, and your future. Take back control of your digital life with Mark 37.
The pandemic, we can never be caught unprepared again. And so many Americans, when COVID hit, they had nothing in the house. Stores were shut down, and doctors' offices were shut down, and even if doctors prescribed drugs, hydroxychloroquine, ivermectin, pharmacists wouldn't fill the prescriptions. That was a nightmare.
Now the situation is much worse. We have these horrible supply chain problems. In our emergency medical kit at the Wellness Company, we have 8 prescription drugs that are all potentially life-saving.
Most people who died with COVID, they died in the hospital because they didn't receive early treatment.
Every American family should have one of these.
I can tell you the Wellness Company kit is the answer.
With my 35 years of experience, our team at U.S. Asset Management can deliver professional investment management, financial planning to help you target your goals, and even specialized divorce financial analysis if you need it. We are here to help you make better decisions with your money. Call U.S. Asset Management today, and let's get to work in your financial future.
Welcome back to the SCIF. So we've got a hell of a story coming out of Connecticut, and we've got a whole team, not just us at Connecticut Sentinel, but a bunch of other groups that are really involved in this and really doing some fantastic investigation and digging out the receipts. One of those is the powerhouse in Connecticut radio, Reese on the radio. I want to bring him in now and get the update on this story because let me just set the stage because we're going into the midterms, and we're busting stories that Connecticut has had illegals that are killing people in DUIs, but they're also highly likely voting, and the Connecticut government is covering it up. That's a crime, my friends. Here we go. Reese, how you doing?
Absolutely fantastic. Thanks for having me again. This is becoming quite a habit for us.
Well, I love it. I mean, I get great reviews. I mean, you got that radio voice. You know, I work with John B. Wells. He's got that radio voice. You got it too, man.
Thank you. Yeah, I believe I was born for this. At least I hope I was, because I can't do anything else this good. To be honest, a pleasure again to be here. You know, you talk about this scandal.
Mm-hmm.
The crazy part about this is that it is developing these layers, as it were. And it's becoming more and more evident that the Secretary of the State, as well as the governor, in their effort to tell everyone, don't look over here at our voter rolls, don't look over here at how we conduct our elections, that more and more evidence keeps coming forward that something is going on with these voter rolls. And it either has something to do with absentee balloting or illegals on the voter rolls. All of these things are showing that everything that they put in place has now allowed people to corrupt the voter rolls. And I'll go real quick into this because I know we only got a limited amount of time.
No, you take your time. I had a guest drop out, so we got plenty of time.
Well, the thing that drives me nuts about this is, okay, so here we have Connecticut who says anyone can vote in the state. In essence, you know, you don't have to have voter ID. You can come in with a credit card. You can come in with anything and you'll be able to vote. Then they turn around after the Bridgeport debacle with Wanda Pataki, who was caught on video stuffing ballot boxes. This woman is
Wanda the ballot stuffer.
That's right. Wanda the ballot stuffer. Even after that in Bridgeport, they then pass a law to approve of no excuse absentee ballot for everyone. Forget about if you're sick. Forget about if you're out of town. It means everybody can get an absentee ballot delivered to their home. So they're not doing anything to sort of secure our votes in Connecticut. They're pretty much making an open market for people to engage in fraud.
Obviously, yeah.
And then look at us and say, nothing to see here. Again, we start with the Seo Secunjanen. I totally forgot this. Even though back in I want to say it was 2004, which was a huge story that showed that there were DMV members, people who worked for the DMV, who were taking $1,500 a pop to deliver licenses, driver's licenses, to illegals and others. They were doing that. I mean, we're talking about hundreds of them. They were caught doing that in 2004. Forget about the fact that in 2015 and 16, and now we know about Seo Secunjanen, the immigrant from Montenegro, who got a driver's license 2 years after he entered the country illegally. He's had a driver's license ever since then, and in 2018 find out he's on the voter rolls. Thankfully, he didn't vote, which is, again, one thing. For them to tell us that this is a one-off makes me laugh.
Yeah.
This all happens while they try to, I guess, counter the president's message a couple of weeks ago about the 2020 election. And then Sekunjanin's story come out. And then, of course, this story with Melissa Ramirez. And to bring everybody up to speed, I'm going to state this. There's a very, very off chance, weirdly off chance, that a Melissa Ramirez, an illegal from Mexico, and a Melissa Ramirez, who is a legal citizen, have the same names and the same birth dates.
Yeah.
I always believe in New York, when there's a larger population, more likely. Connecticut, smaller population, pales in comparison to the population of New York City, that is.
Just let me say 3 of the same names, right?
Yeah, 3 of the same names. That's correct.
Same names and the same birthday.
Exactly. Yeah. Melissa Romero Ramirez. That they both have all 3 of those names out of 4 and the same date of birth. Okay. We know that the Danbury Police Department, who was investigating an accident with the illegal Melissa Ramirez, she caused the death of 2 individuals. Off-duty police officer Cooper Whiteside, and his girlfriend Brittany Islami, the mother of 3. We know that this woman is responsible. She is in custody. The Danbury police investigating that, looking up her information because they tell us she didn't have a driver's license on the scene, looks her up, looks at the database that's in every cop car in Connecticut who can see the individual that they're charging, also questions her at the hospital because she sustained injuries, never once, thinks that or gives the idea that these 2 women, after seeing the information on NCIC to collect, and
which includes a video, an image.
A photograph,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And interviewing her personally at the hospital, the police officers never say that the identities do not match. So on July 13th, they make that determination. They put this driver's license on the warrant, which is signed 11 days later by a district attorney. When the Connecticut Sentinel finds out about that, they investigate it only because they know that the individual who was arrested was an illegal, and they see a driver's license number. So any reasonable member of the media would jump on that story and say, that's weird. Why would a driver's license be attached to an illegal alien? Which, of course, after the Sekunjanin thing leaves a bad taste in everybody's mouth, they reasonably go to check the voter rolls, and there they find it. Driver's license associated with a voter registration. So in all of that, they find out, let's report on this. The governor and the secretary of the state, Ned Lamont and Stephanie Thomas. Yeah, thank you. Stephanie Thomas, respectively, jump on and say that this was wrong. This was misinformation by the Connecticut Sentinel, that there were elected officials who were going on this information provided by the Danbury police, and it was wrong. But then they go one step further by suggesting that the legal residence, Melissa Ramirez in New Britain, was receiving death threats. Many of us thought that was really fishy. But for one reason, Todd, there's only one reason that made me think, why would she be receiving death threats that would reach the level of the Secretary of the State and the governor? Are they trying to suggest to us that Melissa Ramirez of New Britain was receiving death threats because she voted in 3 elections? That didn't make any sense. Yeah. She would probably be receiving death threats about the deaths of a off-duty police officer and a mother of 3.
Yeah.
It is no connection to voter rolls. So that just didn't make sense. So this prompted.
By the way, that was coordinated with local media too. Dan Harr of
That's
CT Mirror was involved in that story, saying he talked to her and she said she was getting death threats, which we found out later was not the case. But go ahead.
Right. He prompts and again, he echoes the statement of the Secretary of the State, Stephanie Thomas, by saying that, these were death threats. He tries to tell me later that he didn't, but it's in his reporting. But anyway. Yeah. So with all of that, we're saying, okay, this doesn't make sense. Why would they even associate this woman with receiving death threats for voting? She has nothing to do with that. So we decided, Adam 12, which is, again, a contributor on the show, and it does all of my booking, and a former police officer said something sounds fishy. He had cop instinct, and boy, was he right.
Mm-hmm.
He goes to the the New Britain Police Department to find out if there has been any substantiated reporting by this woman to them that she's receiving death threats. Because if she is receiving death threats, you're supposed to make a criminal report of that.
Mm-hmm.
Because her life, in essence, would be in danger. This is a very, very volatile story. He goes there and finds out that there isn't one. So he goes one step further and he says, look, maybe she's hurt. Maybe she hasn't reported because somebody has harmed her. So he initiates a welfare check on August 1st. The police department seems a little hesitant. They call Dan Barry to find out whether or not this stuff is jiving. 3 days later, 3 days later, they finally catch up with the Melissa Ramirez, they say, in New Britain. And she flat out says, and we have the police report to back it up, that she has never has received death threats. She said she didn't receive one. In fact, she claims the only people who have harassed her are journalists. And we have that on the record, which again begs one question. Why would the Secretary of the State and why would the governor echo a death threat that never happened?
Right. Obviously, they have an agenda. And let me just throw in there also, one of our reporters at the courthouse a few days ago talked to the family of the Melissa Ramirez in jail. And they said, oh, yeah, she's had a license for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
They even say that they don't even, when they found out during this emergency hearing earlier this week, they didn't even understand what the hearing was about because they thought the next hearing was scheduled for August 31st. They get to this hearing to find out that the prosecutor, and this is my favorite part, I'm not an attorney, but I watched Law and Order for a good 12 years.
Yeah.
They come in to have this court hearing for the district attorney to say they may add the charge of driving without a license, which seems odd because every police officer I've spoken to, and again, these are career officers, looked at the charging document on this in the beginning. Again, they had 11 days from the 13th till the 24th to file these charges. When they filed these charges, 1, they kept the driver's license on, and 2, they didn't charge driving without a license, which they claim she never had. And the thing
which she did have, according to the family.
According to the
family.
Maybe
not at the incident, but she had a license.
Indeed.
And she would have been in the system, right?
Exactly.
If she had a license, she would have come up. Her picture would have been there. Everything. I mean, this is called a cleanup, right? I mean, that's what they're doing in this hearing.
That's the thing about this is that the doubling down by the governor when I addressed him at the Big Y, as I spoke to him, he's saying to me that this was a mistake by the journalists, even after I provided him the evidence that this was all prompted by the Danbury Police Department. Why doesn't he just admit that the press didn't get it wrong? They just reported what they were given. And they could have taken it's one of those things where you're not throwing the police department under the bus. You're just admitting that that's what happened that caused this other woman to be confused with the woman who's being charged. It's a no harm, no foul. But they are doubling down on it and then going so far to lie and say that woman is receiving death threats. Now, that was only done by the governor and the secretary of the state to admonish us.
Exactly.
To tell us, back away from the story. You're making life dangerous for this individual. But then to find out that was never happening, which we knew made no sense because this woman was receiving death threats. 2 things had to be true. 1, there was an idiot who thought that this woman was released when every report said that she was locked up. That idiot would be calling somebody out in the world, not locked up, and saying, I'm going to get you because you killed this police officer or you voted. No, this guy would have to be a denunct to do that.
Yeah.
And then the other obvious question is, are you telling me about her voting than they were about her taking the life of a mother of 3 or a police officer?
That's exactly what's going on there. They don't want this story to get legs. I have that video of you and Governor Lamont. Do you mind if I
Please.
play that? All right, here we go.
My pleasure.
All right.
Governor, with regards to the Ramirez case, we have what is many are calling a mistaken identity, 2 women with the same name and the birth dates, which caused a lot of confusion and some, as you called it, misreporting on the woman who's charged in the fatal death of a police officer and a mother of 3 with an innocent woman living in New Britain. Your statement that was released, I think, a day ago says that the innocent woman is receiving death threats. Can you tell me what the nature of those threats were?
No, you got to check with the police on that.
Okay, well, it was your statement. I'm trying to figure out do you know the nature of those threats?
No, I said, please check with the police on that.
Okay, so your statement was incomplete? I'm not understanding.
No, I just said, please check with the police. You said, what is the exact nature of those threats? I said, please check with the police on that.
And where did you get the information that the young lady was being threatened?
From my team.
Okay, so your team says, okay, so we'll need to follow up on exactly what those threats were. Are you aware that the New Britain police says that they met with the innocent woman in New Britain and asked her specifically if she has been receiving death threats, and she says no?
I think more to the point, don't jump to conclusions. I did think it was really unprofessional for the press to jump to conclusions, confusing one woman with the other. The person that did this never voted, driving illegally. You got to get your facts right, or else innocent people can be put at risk.
Those facts and questions were provided by the Danbury police when they provided a warrant with the innocent woman's driver's license, which led to the confusion. It seems that many people are blaming the press for reacting to the actual police work the Danbury police put out.
Trust but verify. Check the facts.
Okay, which is what everyone did, because the driver's license ended up not only on the original affidavit, but all the way to the warrant 11 days later. From July 13th till the 24th, the same driver's license appeared on there. We know that the officer checked the SCIF information on Melissa Ramirez, the woman who has been charged, and also met with the defendant in the hospital, and never once says in the affidavit that he was confused or somehow saw a misidentification.
Look, you can go back to history. I would tell everybody we got it wrong. This woman is innocent, and let's stop talking about her. Get her out of the press.
Okay, so now you're admitting that the Danbury police got it wrong, and the reporting on it was
enough. Anybody else?
No, there's no. Why would you think not to answer that question?
Anything, sir.
No,
I'm
sir.
just trying
The
to answer
Danbury
your
police.
provocative questions.
It's not provocative to say that the police department was the ones who created this problem. They wrote the driver's license
And I
number
said
on the
start
warrant.
by asking the police.
Yeah, but you said that
can't
the
get
press
into
was responsible for it.
I used to be in the press. I check.
I understand.
check
Was the
all the
press
facts I get.
responsible for the misinformation or not?
Do we have any more questions?
You don't.
Can you believe this guy? Can you believe this guy? I mean, he's literally that. Now, look, I told you I went to Law and Order University. Okay, 12 years. Okay, the learning.
You
never
learned
stops.
well, man. You
learned well.
learned your craft well.
And the objective is look, you never ask the subject a question you don't already know the answer to.
Sure.
And I knew that the governor had no idea what he was talking about. He's being led astray by his team. They are the ones who are telling him what to repeat, what to opine about. He has no personal knowledge of the information. He is out there literally with his pants down. And I knew I was going to expose him. You know, the fact that he just couldn't admit, because he didn't know what he was going to admit anyway. But
yeah,
he, you know, he's so tethered to this idea, to whatever his team is telling him, and that this was misreporting by the Connecticut Sentinel, that it was then echoed by elected officials or Blue Lives Matter. All of that was false, again, by not knowing the story. And I'm telling you, this is huge. One, because of just one solitary reason. And that is these two people, the governor and the secretary of the state, in their position, in their capacity, went on their social media and released statements to the press lying about the so-called innocent Melissa Ramirez.
Yes.
When the case is about misinformation, when they are admonishing the Connecticut Sentinel about spreading misinformation, these two wackadoodles do exactly that.
I wrote that down. Jump to conclusions.
Yeah. I mean, it is absolutely insane that these two people would do that. And anyone, can I just want to tell an aside. This is great for anybody.
Yeah.
So I was fooling around. My wife and I love the app Grok from, X. We love that app. And I fool around. My wife doesn't know this, but I fool around with ChatGPT because I want to see the contrast between the two. Many people argue ChatGPT could be much more liberal than Grok's conservative.
Well, be careful with chat because it might tell you to kill yourself. But,
Oh, no, I promise. No. Reese on the radio will never do that. But so I asked the question. I literally copied and pasted the question from Grok to ChatGPT. But here was the crux of the question. What level of severity is this story, meaning the Secretary of State and the governor, lying about this woman getting death threats? And the first, Grok just gave a straight answer. But if you will indulge me a little bit here.
Yeah, man.
And you know what I never, ever asked you? They might have called you Todd or L Todd.
Todd is good.
Todd is good? Okay.
My parents called me by my middle name and cursed me for life. But,
So I said, this is the question I gave to ChatGPT. Grok just gave me a straight answer. I'll give that afterwards. But let me read this. I said, please tell me the level of the scandal with the Secretary of the State, Stephanie Thomas, lying about the death threats against Melissa Ramirez, 10 being the highest. This is what ChatGPT said. My honest assessment is 8 out of 10 as a credibility scandal. An 8 out of 10. Although its current statewide media impact is closer to a 5 because most major outlets have not pursued the contradiction.
Wow, told the truth.
Do you want to know what Grok gave it?
Yeah, I do.
A 7.
Really? Huh.
Now, that says something.
Yeah, it does. Interesting.
And they said, and again, they're talking about the fact that Stephanie Thomas using her platform on her official Facebook page for the Secretary of the State's office to make that claim about a woman that now, provably, they know never received any death threats, and no one has addressed.
Let me just say for our audience, there's still a big question: does this woman exist or not?
Indeed.
Did the police just say that? I mean, because they did, they had no problem with her for 13 days while she was in the hospital. They went and interviewed her. It looked like the same person to them. They checked their license, checked the picture. It's all good. But 13 days later, when we find out maybe she voted, then all of a sudden there's this new mystery person that actually the police say they went and talked to, and she's getting, or alleged was getting death threats, and she said no. So
we're
weird.
This close for getting a confirmation. So I may be breaking a little bit of news here, but we do know that the police officers in their own report said that they spoke to this alleged Melissa Ramirez at a public place. We have confirmed that there are surveillance cameras at that location, and we are looking into those surveillance cameras.
You guys are Columbos, man. This is fantastic.
You know,
coat, dude.
Listen, Todd, I got to tell you, like, bottom line, this is always kind of been my thing. I grew up. This is true. I have absolutely no training in any of this, but I make my friends laugh all the time. I remember my wife needed CPR. One of my ex-wives needed CPR, and the police officer said, "Do you have official CPR training?" I was like, "Nope. I learned it from watching Quincy MD growing up." Everything I learned on TV. That's why I'd say the joke. I watched Law and Order for 12 years. Not that I could be an attorney, but I can play one on TV at least.
Yeah, no kidding. I stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night. So there you go.
Indeed.
Oh my! You pulled out a thread which was really interesting to me, and we need to keep going down that thread. You said that they were more worried about the illegal voting than killing the cop because the death threat, allegation was made toward the voting, not toward the death of the cop. So that is something I really want to keep pushing because that whole so you have two issues. One is the possible illegal that was voting. That's big in Connecticut. But the other issue is the government lying about it and being more worried about that than the death of a cop and his girlfriend, who happened to be, just not of the favorite groups that they're trying to push through.
Well, because I believe this story, one lends itself to the other, right? So, and they are the ones steering this ship. I will go so far, and I've said this on my show countless times, that the elected officials in Connecticut have never had real pushback by media figures,
So
by the
true.
mainstream
So true.
media.
So
And
true.
so with that, how do you trip up an elected official in Connecticut? Well, you simply ask them a tough question. It's
Yeah.
something they've never been prepared for, right?
Yeah.
So all of their media people who are telling them how to deal with the press, well, if they're never dealing with an adversarial fourth estate, that's when they get met with real questions, they fumble over each other, and in tripping over each other trying to answer the next question that they've never been made prepared for, they will lead you exactly to your target. Now, again, like I said, I am seasoned in this. I've been asking these questions to elected officials for 25 years, and I never ever ask a question without being prepared. And I already, and it's funny because I say this in all of my arguments with people. People think I'm arguing. I'm leading them. I never argue. I lead.
Yeah.
In a conversation, the only thing I want to get them to is the place where I am. So I continue to ask them questions that contradict their point of view. Okay, well, if that's true, can you explain this to me? Because I'm not understanding. And then they will go, in their eagerness to make you understand, they will reveal themselves.
They'll continue the lie.
Exactly.
You know, and it's so true because we have papers in other states like Georgia, Florida, Colorado, et cetera. And just a reporter, they are not used to any media accountability at all.
No.
Just one paper, one little website that, you know, starts talking about something and it flips them the, you know what, out. I mean, it's really interesting to watch that dynamic.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, Connecticut will tell you, and it's funny because the last 6-7 months they've been telling me the same thing, is that they have praised what we do on Reese on the Radio for one thing, is that they believe that there are so many people in this state that are afraid to challenge power here.
Yes.
And finally, they feel like someone is stepping up to challenge these people in power, and now it's emboldened others to say enough is enough. I've got to step up.
And that has to get down into the party because the party is just a joke in Connecticut. So, I mean, it really has to, there has to be some kind of opposition, whether it's Republicans or something else that I don't know, Tucker and MTG are going to start or whatever is coming our way. But, you know, something's got to stand up and try to oppose what they're doing.
I hope that people are more energized to do this, but I know that at least the Republicans in this state who have told me personally, sent me messages. They say that they love what I'm doing. They love that I'm out on the street questioning authority, getting in the faces of the governor to ask him the real questions, hold him accountable. The audience clearly responds to it on social media by saying, finally. You know, that's my favorite word. When I post these videos, everybody says, finally. I thought I said, they've been doing, I said, no one has done this for a long time. People correct me and says, no one has done this ever, Reese. So I'm like, okay. I guess I'll be that guy.
So cool, man. Glad to have a relationship with you, and you've been really helpful to the Connecticut Sentinel. So thank you so much for that.
Oh, man, listen, you guys don't listen. I remember the first time you guys published my article, and I ran and I showed it to my wife, and I was like, the Sentinel published my article. You guys have done more for me than I could ever do for you. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Made me feel like I arrived.
Well, tell us about your show, when it's on, where they can find you. Because we got an audience that may want to listen to you from Idaho. So
please do. Again, we do cover national topics, and I know that we do a lot of Connecticut stuff, but you can always go to reeseontheradio.com or WTIC.com so that you can listen to the program. If you go to reeseontheradio.com, that's REESE on the radio.com, you will get full cutouts of the show. You can listen to it live. And we've done something that people can appreciate. Rush Limbaugh used to do music parodies on his program. Well, we've adopted a little bit of that because, you know, as I always say, Rush Limbaugh is my hero. So we got a couple of parody songs that we've posted online on the website as well. Like one of my favorite ones is My Vote Ain't Worth a Dime, which is about how Connecticut doesn't allow for voter ID, but you have to show a driver's license or a photo ID if you try to redeem 10 cents cans and bottles at the grocery store, which is a funny song. My Vote Ain't Worth a Dime. It's an R&B song, and it's actually kind of catchy. So if you listen to it, you'll love it.
Dude, I'll check it out. You know, I
you got-
remember I was driving back 1986. I'll never forget this, from Colorado. I graduated from the Air Force Academy, and I was driving to Michigan through the, flyover country. And I was listening to the radio, and Rush Limbaugh came on with that song "Born Free," and then it had the machine guns like firing.
Yes.
That stuff's effective, man.
Listen, I purchased his online subscription so that during, like, you could watch from the Ditto Cam.
Yeah.
I did that just so during the commercial breaks I could hear all the parody commercials and songs, because I couldn't do it on the terrestrial radio, and I just had to hear those songs over and over again. So when I started my show, I said, Rush is gone, and I'm going to keep that legend alive by doing parody songs. So that's what we've been doing, and it's fun to do.
Oh, cool. You gotta send us some. We'll play them on the show.
I
Hey,
definitely will.
Thanks, Reese. We'll have you back, of course.
My pleasure,
Take care.
sir. Have
Ciao.
a great one.
First time ever, we're bringing you My Pillow mattresses and mattress toppers for as low as $99.98. Remember, sleep's all about temperature and pressure points. Whatever sleep needs you have, we have the right technology for you. Like our My Pillow mattress topper, our queen size has over 10,000 individual comfort supports to help relieve your pressure points. And how about our 3-inch Hybrid Plus mattress topper? It's infused with copper and silver to help your body get the restorative sleep it needs. And our My Pillow and Case Coil mattresses, I personally helped develop these mattresses to make sure they have everything needed to give us great sleep. Plus, they're made right here in the USA, and they ship right to your front door absolutely free. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to get MyPillow mattresses and toppers for as low as $99.98 and free shipping.
I'm watching my friends gain more and more weight, and then eventually I got to tell you, this is a little dark, but bad diet literally killed my whole crew.
Wow.
Diabetes, a stroke. I mean, all kinds of stuff. It's like, you had a stroke? You're not even 50 years old. You guys got to quit eating this stuff. Your body knows what's what. You're not conscious of this. But that's why people will go to the refrigerator and they'll grab this and that and the other, put together this outrageously elaborate combination of foods. Your body's trying to reach balance. Unbeknownst to us, our bodies are always trying to reach homeostasis. You can't eat all of this stuff and expect to live a long time. And one thing led to another, and I went, forget this. We're going to make our own product. So we partnered with one of the world's top 3 biochemists where nutrition-specific study is concerned. I said, all I want is the best nutritional and immune support product in the world. So we mix it in yogurt. It's a powder. I got a bag of it here. I keep one on the console all the time, just so I can show people.
Yeah.
And it's a powder. Now, this is not candy. This is hardcore nutrition. And sugar is an enemy. And most people do not know that the reason these bellies are showing up on people all over the place, your body makes fat to store the toxins it can't get rid of. So it just puts them over here. But I can tell you this, you take this for 30 days and then lay off of it for 2 or 3 days, and you'll go, good grief, give me some more. Skin, nails, hair growing back, cut yourself and it heals in half the time.
Put silver wings on my son's chest. Make him one of America's best. He'll be a man. He'll test one day. Have him win the Green Beret.
Welcome back to the SCIF. I want to walk through some stories. We've already put this one up with Reese, but you can go to the Connecticut Sentinel. That's Connecticut Sentinel with a C. We resurrected this revolutionary paper from the 1700s. It's the old spelling, CENTINAL, ConnecticutSentinel.com for our audio audience. And you can find a series of stories on this woman who may or may not exist, named with the same name and birthday of the woman who killed the cop and his ex-girlfriend, or his girlfriend, mother of 3, while on a motorcycle in a DUI, and then has the same name as this mystery woman who voted multiple times in Connecticut And this is a story that's really rolling into the midterms. It's got huge legs. So we're going to stay on it for sure. All right. This one happened this morning. Green energy billionaire topples Trump-backed Ogles in Tennessee. You know, this is something I want to point out. The green energy billionaire behind this campaign to topple real MAGA candidates is, guess who? The guy running Ripple, which is XRP. So I want to, I'm going to ask our friend Rob Cunningham directly about this when I have him back on the show. This is not cool and exactly what we don't want in elections. So the people are not being represented, but big money from the outside is. And we need to drill down and go down that rabbit hole. All right, Ukraine sends drones 800 miles into Russia. This story is getting more and more interesting as obviously Western-backed weapon systems are hitting Ukraine. And there's a lot of talk that this has been happening to try to get Russia to attack NATO and start World War III. So they want it, guys. It's coming unless we stop it. So it's up to us. Are we going to stop it or not? That's the big question. So we're going to stay on this story. CIA is getting involved in Cuba. You can find this on cdm.press. They are working to bring down the government there. And Trump has said we can really, military action can be done even while we're doing Iran. So it looks like Cuba is in the crosshairs. It's just a matter of time. But the agencies operating there on the ground. Zelenskiy makes a trip to Serbia. This is disturbing. We may go back to Serbia. We were there last year reporting on some of the anti-Christian protests. And this is anti-Christian persecution, I should say. So we're going to continue to talk about different Christian countries and the Christian cultures, and this is one of them. Serbia is right up there. A lot of the misinformation on the Balkan wars, brutal war on both sides, but a lot of misinformation and work by the U.S. Government during those wars and after to repress the Christian population. We wrote about that on our paper, The Balkan Press, recently. Crenshaw working to tell Americans you can eat ramen instead of, while his net worth explodes 65% in Congress. That story is on CDM. You should be aware of it. And then the last one I want to talk about is Mamdani booed off the stage in Manhattan over the 9/11 issue. We'll just play that real quick.
From New York! Go New York, go New York, go! Oh yeah, man! It's a big victory! Go New York, go Knicks! Good evening, everyone! Pleasure to be here! I want to say thank you to the Burroughs Center. Thank you to my brother Scott McDaniel, great artist, that we disagree on politics. And thank you also to all the elected officials and the incredible for all the work they do. It's a real pleasure to be here. Happy National Night Out Against Crime. Congratulations, everyone. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, so you get the picture. Maybe the tide is going to turn on Mamdani. We're going to try to do our part. If you're in the New York area, we need help with the paper in New York. We need contributors. We need people to go find stories. And so contact us at CDM. There's an email on the site. Check out our no ad subscriptions. We're running a big program now to make people aware of this. Let me just bring that up while I'm here. If you go to my.cdm.press, that's my.cdm.press, you can access all of our content with no ads. We're running a lot of content, and the ads are going to be back on there. We had to switch ad providers. So they're going to be there, but if you don't like them, you can, let me just throw up this image we did for the recent ad campaign. 1 second, I'll just throw this up. This is what we are putting out before and after, with advertisements or without, just the news. If you go to mycdm.press, my.cdm.press, my.cdm.press, you can find that portal to get a subscription. It's $10 a month or $100 a year. Please just support us that way. It gives you something and it supports us, and it gives us income we can count on every month, and it's just fantastic. We've had a lot of success with it. We are going to be ramping up the content again into the, much bigger than where it is now, and also we're going to ramp up the ads. I'm sorry, we got to make money. We got to survive. We got to pay the bills. So this is not a free operation. It's not a charity. We need help by readers. We're supported by the readers, by you. So my.cdm.press, that's my.cdm.press, $100 a year or $10 a month. And you get access to all of our content. You just log in once and you can go from site to site with no ads popping up, no video ads, no display ads, all of that stuff that you hate on your phone. All right. That's all we got for today, because Tom Teague was going to come on, but he can't. He's traveling in Europe, and he will be on Monday. So there's a big story about many of the talking financial heads trying to get WARSH to hike rates, and we want to dig down into that because that is a massive, massive, massive story. So we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for joining us today. I really appreciate you coming on the SCIF. Please sign up on our socials, CDM1 on Rumble, CDM on YouTube. Go there, subscribe, even if you don't hit us there or watch us there. We need the numbers higher. And go to CDM_press or real L. Todd Wood on X, or CDM_press on X, and follow us there as well. We need to grow the numbers. Tell people, spread the links, leave comments, likes, all of that. Thank you very much. We'll see you. Actually, I'll be here Sunday at 2 on the Georgia Show with Bill Quinn, I believe. I believe he's back after his, and he's doing some deep investigations into a lot of this stuff and will be available hopefully Sunday. And we'll have Bill and I talk about the latest. And then Monday, I'll be back on the SCIF with Tom Teague at least. Oh, and Pete Blaber was supposed to come on today as well, and he had to back away due to work commitment. So we're going to pre-tape this afternoon, and he'll be on Monday as well on Ukraine SITREP, which is one of our big topics. Nobody gives better coverage of Ukraine than us. So we will see you Monday, but Pete and Tom will be there then. Thanks. Take care.